I'm Robin. I am a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals off the gray sheet. First I write them down and then I measure them. I commit them to my sponsor and I don't eat in between no matter what. And I have a sponsor and I just started sponsoring someone. And I'm very glad to have a sponsor to talk to about how to, pass along that message. Um, I want to apologize because I was asked to speak and then I don't know what happened. I think I messed it up. And so I think I must have missed the day. So just I apologize for that. And if I look down, it's because we have these cats, that stray cats that we've been feeding, and we brought them into our house. They had kittens, and there's like kittens running around my feet, and sometimes they attack my feet. So if that happens, that's why I'm looking down. Okay, so I wrote down some notes so that I could try to be organized, but yeah, I'm happy to see a bunch of people that I've seen at other meetings and who saw me when I first came to Gray Sheet, and that makes me feel good. To say, so I've been in Gray Sheet, I probably about 2.5 years. I had a couple of day ones, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know when my last day one was, but I've been working out with my sponsor and also with direction. Well, I am going to work it out with my sponsor and also with direction. I know that it's been over 1.5 years that I've been, on maintenance and all of that. So I have a date in mind that I'm selected, but I have to talk that over. But it's been over 1.5 years. So like just in terms of my background, like I'm from upstate New York, and from a pretty small town in upstate New York between Ithaca and Syracuse. And it's a big deal in my family, but I hear other people talk about like how it was love and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that that was true. I just know that like we ate a lot in my family, and we obsessed a lot sort of about what we were going to eat. And it seemed like I can just think of this one situation where I was probably like, I don't know, like 8 or something. And we went to this restaurant, like a chain restaurant, and everybody had eaten all of their stuff and they were stuffed. And then my father was eating his after everybody had eaten theirs. And everyone was really jealous because it was like he was slowly savoring his food. And it was like it seemed to indicate that he had restraint where everybody else did not have restraint. So, but in my immediate family, there was a lot of drama around food because my mother was very overweight, and it was like a issue in my parents' marriage, and there was like arguments about that. And both of my parents are adult children of alcoholics. And I think that, so in our family, there's just a lot of chaos going on. This kitten is like all over the place. There's a lot of chaos going on with a little domestic violence, a lot screaming, untreated Al-Anon, but food, I do clearly remember like the weekend would come and we'd have big bags and lots of round things, and we would stuff our faces. And I don't know that's just what we did. And I think probably at an early age, I used it as an escape too. I remember very clearly like being excited to like be all on my own, watching television, eating a lot of this stuff. And definitely the carbs were like a big deal for me. So as I got a little older, I was really into kind of like punk rock music. And I had a mohawk and I wore like fishnet stockings and mini skirts, and I started it's very predictable, but I started drinking and doing drugs, and I wound up becoming an alcoholic and a drug addict. And one of the things I did notice being very pleased about was when I was taking drugs, I wasn't eating. And I remember somebody saying to me at one point, "You look really good." And I was like, "I look really good," and it was basically because I didn't eat anything. I just did a lot of drugs, and and I also had this kind of smug, this was like, I made sure to write this down, smug satisfaction that I was not going to be like my mom, who had, I would say, over 50 diet books, and had tried all these different diets, and I wasn't going to be like her, and I was going to manage to have a guy unlike her, because my parents got divorced, and probably because some of the weight issues or whatever. And I was going to do it differently. And so I was very judgmental about what it meant to be overweight. And which I'm ashamed about, actually. And when I, yeah. So let's see. So I ended up getting sober, and I've been sober for a long time. And sort of like the wreckage of my past, I was unable to have kids. And I didn't really notice it at first, but I did. I will say that, like, when I would go to meetings at the fellowship that I'm in, if they had the sweet thing and I was tasked with buying the sweet thing, if any was left over, I would take it home, and it could be half of it, and I would eat the entire thing. And I would probably eat the entire thing like by the end of the night. When it was like something that was designed for probably 20 people. And also, every weekend, it was all about the carbs and the sugar every single weekend. And I also used it, so I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing drugs. I still smoke cigarettes, but so I felt like I was entitled to have this thing, whatever it was, because look how good, I'm a good girl now. Sorry about that. I'm such a good girl, so I should be able to do whatever I want to do. And so anyway, I ended up doing in vitro fertilization like 3 times. And I had to give myself hormones, and I gained weight. And, mind you, I wasn't like super skinny to begin with, but I gained weight. And then because I'm older, so that was like, I think I was around 40. It was harder to get the weight off. And I kind of joke with my husband now too, because I use it as an excuse for like a good 6 years, like, well, it was the IVF medicine. It wasn't the IVF medicine. It was because I was like eating all these sweet things every single day. And, you know, and I really liked fast food a lot. So I would do that on the way home. And so it was all like salt, sugar, carbs. Um, and then and one thing that I definitely did was, like, I didn't realize some of these things. I was on the Dallas meeting on Sunday, and somebody mentioned the diabetic like meal plan, and I had forgotten that. I remember I looked it up and I was like, that's what I'll do. Like, they eat healthy, and then I'll just do this, and then I won't, I'll lose weight. And that didn't last very long. I also exercised a lot to try to lose weight. I got a membership. I mean, I wasn't that committed because I never really liked gyms that much, but I remember eating a lot of stuff and then going to the gym and trying to exercise it off, or starving myself for, skipping meals so that I could binge later. People call that restricting. I don't really know what that is, but and not as a comment. It's just that I don't want to use a term just so that I can fit in. But that's what I did. Like, I did stuff like that. I smoked and drank a lot of coffee thinking that that would help. That didn't do anything either. And then I had problems at work interacting with people. I'm kind of a shy person, but also judgmental. And I had a recent insight that I have a lot of self-righteous criticism. So it's by no mistake that I wound up in oh, thank you. I wound up in I don't know if we can mention professions, but I wound up in a profession where you're supposed to help people. And I thought that I was really great because I helped people. But because I didn't get along that great with my coworkers, I'd come home at the end of the day and I'd eat a lot of stuff because I didn't know how to express I didn't know how to reason things out with people, talk things through, or anything like that, really. So since I only have 5 minutes left, I was becoming my mom. My husband was like, "Oh, you're too fat. I don't want to, you know, I'm not attracted to you anymore." And that was like humiliating and reminded me of my growing up. And we ended up adopting, and my daughter's 12 now. And in the past couple of, right before I came into Gray Sheet, it had gotten to the point where like, basically my life, like I work all week, come home, binge on sweet stuff, stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, binging on sweet stuff. And then wake up the next day feeling like hungover, even though I wasn't drinking or doing drugs. No energy. My daughter has, and I think it's okay if I say it, I don't think she'd be mad. She has ADHD and she has dyslexia. And it requires some effort on my part. So me laying in bed, being kind of out of it because I've had so much sweet stuff was not very helpful. So anyway, so my friend was in Gray Sheet and she told me about it. And I was like, that's nuts. Like, there's no way I'm going to do that. That's like way too extreme. And then it was like more of this continuation of this. I just didn't want to be this way anymore. Like, I was looking at pictures of myself and it's just, so I'm 5'3", I weighed 211 pounds. Now I weigh 132. I remember before I came into Gray Sheet, I was like sweating like crazy. My legs were rubbing together. It was like sore and painful, just all that kind of stuff. And like now I'm like, even though I'm sweating, it's like menopause, hot flashes, and it's hot. And it's not because like I'm so overweight that I can't, function. So a promise that's come true for me has been, I think, that I've gotten a voice because I'm not stuffing my mouth with food. I'm speaking up more. I'm learning to like weigh and measure my life, which I've heard other people say, and I'm just going to copy that, but it's true. So it's like, no, I can't hide underneath a rock and pretend I don't have an opinion, but also I can't go around like mowing people down with my opinion. I went to graduate school. I'm trying to like, now I have like so much more energy. Like this clarity, like I know that I came to this meeting and I was like all crying, like and all this kind of stuff, that's fine too. It's just having clarity and like having more of a sense of like being like a real person, not a person that's like in this fog of like pretend. And also it's like led me to other things. So now I'm probably like a quadruple winner. I go to lots of 12-step programs and just finding time to like do it is a little difficult. But like I'm finding that I really need to do it because if I don't, I probably would go back to eating and I probably would, or I'll just take everything out on everybody else and blame everybody else for my problems, which is, and not take responsibility, which is, I will do that. And I will continue to do that unless I work on it. So I just think that Gray Sheet's probably like one of the best things that could have ever happened in my life, really. I mean, I didn't know it existed. And then my friend told me about it and I was like, how could I not have known about this? But like I said before, I thought everybody was crazy. Like, why would you do that? Why would you deprive yourself of this? And oh, and like my sponsor taught me to like make my food really good. Like I really like my food. I'm very satisfied after eating my food. Sometimes I try to vary it, but I like that I'm not like counting calories, which I did a lot of that. Oh my goodness. And like over exercising and counting calories combo, you know. So thanks a lot for letting me do service at the meeting, and that's it.